It has been quite the year. Listen, welcome back to About This Life with your host, Anne Marie. About This Life is about letting go limiting beliefs, changing our mindsets so that we can add more life to our days and live our life in the blessing and the thankfulness of which it is. Life is definitely a gift. 2025 brought with it some lessons. Woohoo. It brought some life lessons. And you know what? That's okay because any wound that you learned, it brings wisdom to it. There are three life lessons that I want to leave you with it for 2025 as you move forward to 2026. I want to read a quote to you. Opportunities aligned with who you are, not who you wish to be. Become that person first. Opportunities align with who you are, not who you wish to be. So become that person first. If you want better in your life, if you want more in your life, most important thing that you can do is to heal. Let me give you an example. Self-abandonment. Self-abandonment doesn't protect you from pain, it guarantees it. You might believe that making yourself smaller, you might believe that if you didn't say too much, you didn't need too much, you didn't want too much, that would avoid disappointment. That is not the case. When you abandon yourself, you lose yourself piece by piece by piece. And when you look in a mirror, you can't even remember who you were. So, self love, self care is not just about the manicures and the pedicures, the eyebrow, no, the eyelashes in this day and age. It is about learning about yourself so much that you can recognize the patterns in your life, in your behavior. And once you can recognize those patterns and trace it back to its root, you are able to make decisions and choose, is this something that I want to keep, or is this something that I just simply need to let go? Self care is not about the pretty stuff. Self care is about the patterns that are deep in your subconscious. Okay, lesson number two. And since we're on this tip about self care, lesson number two is about self care. One of the things about your heart in terms of love, uh, how do you move forward after love has gone? Has anybody been in love? And that relationship did not turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out. I have found that the secret sauce in terms of moving on from that place is not to focus on the other person. Do not repeat the movie in your head about why did this happen? How could this happen? What are the red flags? What are the green flags? All of that is helpful, but if you focus on that, you will stay stuck. Do you want to know how to get unstuck? If you want to get unstuck, I want you to lean in and listen to this pearls of wisdom. Instead of focusing on the other person, instead of focusing on the relationship, you already anticipate I'm going to say focus on you, right? But this is a different focus on you. This is a focus on you where who were you as a person when you were in that relationship? Who were you? Who were you in terms of your personality, in terms of your needs, your wants? What did you desire that was being filled, that was in that relationship? And now that the relationship has ended, what might you need to change? What might you need to say, this is something that I can cultivate within myself? For example, is it attention that you needed? You can cultivate that. Is it the feeling of being held? You can look up to the Father and to the Spirit. There are some things that you can cultivate to help your own personal growth. And there are some things that you just simply let go and you let it process through your body. Don't let it sit there. So, one of the things I'm going to go back and I am going to repeat it, that when you focus on yourself, you're not focusing on what you did wrong, what you did right, what you could have done better. No, ma'am. No, sir. Focus on who were you? Who was that person you showed up as? And go meet that person and go work through those issues. Go fix what you need to fix at that touch point. Okay. The final and third um, caveat or pearls of wisdom in terms of self care is really just a continuation, and that is we are all on our grind. We are all on our grind. Some of us are burdened. Some of us have had tragedy strike. Some of us experience grief or the grief never left. Uh, it's still there. And one of the things to do with this grief is to remember that some of the things, how should I put this? There's a call coming in and I forgot to turn off my cell phone. But through the work and through the grit and through everything that we've been through, the third nugget is to give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to rest even when other people around you don't understand. This past year, I've been in a lot of doctors' offices. I've been even in the emergency room several weeks ago. That is because I was pressing, I was driving, and the thing about life is people convince you that if you don't take advantage of the momentum, everything is lost. It's a lie. It's a lie. Here's why it's a lie. Because I have a father. His name is God. And whatever you want to call your God, my Lord, Jesus, that everything that is for you will be there for you. And if something doesn't happen on the timeline as you think that it should be, God has a way of arranging it so that you will come into contact with the right people at the right time. He's embedded a gift in you, a gift of service, a gift to help others, to have the faith, that what is meant for you is for you. So instead of the mindset of fear, I'm afraid that my business won't take off. I'm afraid that I'll lose my job. I'm afraid, da 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 da. Instead of fear, change your mindset, change your words, and step into the word. Work from a place of knowing that He will never leave you nor forsake you. Knowing that God chose you to proclaim freedom for the captives, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, a garment of praise instead of the spirit of despair. That comes from Isaiah 61, 1 through 3. As we close out 2025, I would love to say thank you to my guests. I've had over 100 guests. Don't look at YouTube for the number of videos because they were early on in the podcast. I did not always transfer my show onto YouTube. So just trust me. There's been more than 100 episodes. So a heartfelt thank you to my guests who rocked with me this year. I would like to say thank you to RMK Productions, my crew. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Arina, all led by Kevin McLemore at RMK Productions. They understand I don't know a thing about technology. All I know is to press the record button. And so I want to thank them for their hard work week after week after week after week. They hung in there and they made this podcast work and made it sizzle and handled it so that I didn't have to think about how am I going to promote the podcast. So RMK, thank you. I'd also like to tell you that in 2026, as new guests come on the show, release of an ebook that I have planned, release of some meditations and some poetry workshops. There's a lot planned for 2026 to expand this concept of self-care, of having more life, filling your life. I'm lost for words. Catch me on About This Life on YouTube and all of your streaming platforms. On YouTube is at About This Life Podcast. Make sure you pick the one that says Ian Marie, though. If you would, I'm on IG at About This Life underscore Ian Marie. And I'm on audio podcasts as well. So subscribe. I want to give a shout out to Motivation Sundays with Kevin McLemore. Kevin hosts the show, and each week he has guests, and we're like a panel, and we're talking about different topics. It's been a joy to drop in and be amongst the other guests that ends up on his show from time to time. So please check out Kevin McLemore's Motivational Sundays also on YouTube. As I close out, just thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. We've had a great many achievements, over 100 episodes, as I mentioned, 2,100 subscribers. Thank you for rocking with me. And if there is a prayer from my lips to God's ears, can we even break the code and make it to 200,000 people? Why do we want to do that? The message is clear. The message is healing. If you look back to some of my episodes from this year, you will see a lot of them focused on trauma. And that was with therapists and doctors and people who have been through trauma. So this message needs to reach the world. So my request of my father is let's rock out about this life. This is your host, Anne Marie. Take care, Merry Christmas, and happy, happy, happy New Year. Bye-bye, everybody.